Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Siri. Today, get ready with me to become a bride. I am Telugu and it's our tradition to do a pelikuthuru a couple days before the actual wedding. So the pelikuthuru is essentially where my family turns me into the bride and gets me ready for the festivities. Come along with me and I'll show you how I do my makeup. Okay. I already have some of this on. I'm just going to add a little bit more. It's Summer Fridays lip balm in the shade Vanilla Beige. I always like to start my makeup with a little bit of lip balm on to keep my lips hydrated while I do the rest of the steps. Today I'm trying out the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. This was sent to me and I think it's supposed to be the dupe of the Milk Makeup Primer, and I've heard really good things about it, so I'm very excited to try it. I've already done my usual skin prep. It's pretty much all the same steps in my skincare video that I have on my channel. This does not have any pore clogging ingredients in it, so I'm very happy about that. I'm just packing this into the areas where I feel like my makeup settles or separates the most, or where I notice a lot of oiliness. So that would be mostly next to my nose, around my cheeks, and then on my forehead. The primer's on and I'm gonna let that set for at least 30 seconds to a minute so that it doesn't move around when I add the next step in my makeup routine. I'm going to start by using a tiny bit of the Haus foundation to even out my skin tone. I just take a little bit on the back of my hand and then I'll disperse it in little dots across my face. And just a little bit on my nose. I don't get too close to my under eye area because I'm going to put concealer there anyways. And if I put too much product there, then it'll just look cakey and separate a lot faster. Get a little closer for you. Then I'm just taking my Real Techniques brush to blend this all out. I'm mostly patting and then just moving my brush a little bit, but I'm not doing wide or broad strokes because I want to make sure that the product sets in the places where I intend it to instead of thinning out too much. I feel like this technique also smoothens the look of pores. The foundation is on and I really love the way that the foundation sat on top of the primer. So very initial first impressions of this product, the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I haven't used this before, but I've used that foundation, so I feel like this has really made a difference in how smooth the foundation sets. The foundation is really good on its own, but it doesn't look this smooth unless I do use a primer. Next, I'm using the Saie concealer. This has been my recent obsession. I used to use the NARS one, which I do really like, but I was running out and I decided to just get this during the Sephora sale, and it's been working out really well. I'm going to let the concealer set for a little bit so that when I blend it out, it'll look more full coverage. And I will go in with a little bronzer. I don't contour and bronze, I just use bronzer in the areas that I would want to contour. I use a really light hand when I apply this and I dab and pat it in so that it doesn't end up looking streaky on my face. It looks more blended and bronzed. I'm going to use the same foundation brush to blend out the concealer on most of the areas of my face. I don't know if it's because of the primer, but this is blending in so smoothly and quickly. If you're wondering what's on my hands, this is traditional Goranthaku. It's kind of like the henna or mehendi, but it's like the South Indian version of it. And my grandma actually made it for me. We have the paste for this actually comes from a tree. It's the leaves, and we have a tree in our backyard, and my grandma put so much time and effort to grind it into the paste for me, and she applied it for me last night, and it turned out like this. For my under eyes, I'm going to start by blending it out using a sponge. It's not wet yet, but I think I'm going to use this to dampen it a little bit. This is the e.l.f. Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray, so it's supposed to be like the setting spray version of this. After I blend out like most of it, I like to use a brush to pat in the rest. I usually don't wear eyeshadow, so I think I'm going to skip that for today. I'm gonna add a little bit of bronzer real quick to my nose. I always just go down the sides and then make a little pointy shape at the bottom. And then I do kind of take any excess and try to blend it into the corners of my eyes. Before I set everything with powder, I'm going to finish off the cream products with this Saie blush. It's pretty much the only cream blush that I use. It's so good, blends in so well. And then I'm going to maybe put a dot of the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand blush. It's a similar shade to the Saie, but has some sparkles in it, so it's like a highlight and blush combined. I always say this, but I think that the Saie blush has just the perfect amount of pigment in it because it shows up on my skin, it lasts, but it's not too pigmented where it looks streaky, which I feel like some of the really pigmented blushes where you can only put like a tiny dot of them on, you have to spend so much time blending them out, and just for me, it's too much work and it always ends up looking streaky. But then if I have a more smooth product like the Saie blush, it blends in really easily even if I do a little extra. And I always end up going a little extra with my blush. To set my under eyes, I'm using the Hourglass setting powder. This does not have any pore clogging ingredients in it. I'm not sure if the theory with pore clogging ingredients applies to just cream products or also to powders, but better safe than sorry. So I found this one that does not have any pore clogging ingredients, and I will just go underneath my eyes and on my forehead, then on my chin, and then down my nose. So I put the lighter powder wherever I want to highlight. It's mostly in the areas where I applied concealer. I love the idea of dewy makeup looks, and I do like to do things up with setting spray at the very end, but I always feel the need to set my whole entire face because I don't want to feel oily. I think that if I feel even a little bit of dew on my skin, then the whole entire day I just can't stop thinking about how oily I feel. So I only used the Hourglass powder, like I said, in the areas that I want to highlight, and then for the rest I'm using a darker Kosas setting powder that's pressed for the rest of my face. So I'm not trying to highlight, just trying to mattify a little bit. And this powder is really great because it does not dry me out, it just smoothens everything. While I'm at it, I'll just start to blend out the highlighted areas too. Try mostly to avoid the areas where I use the cream blush because I'm going to use a powder blush in those areas. I have a smaller brush that I like to use sometimes to get the powder underneath my eyes. I love these powders because they take away the oily look that I don't like, but they don't make me look flat and matte. I still have a bit of glow to my skin. It's the perfect amount for me. Now I'm just using powder blush. It has a little bit of shimmer to it, but it doesn't look like a blinding highlight, which is definitely not the look I'm going for today. For my eyes, I'm just going to use my eyelash curler to curl my eyes, and then I'll use some mascara. I feel like this eyelash curler makes all the difference. For mascara, I'm just using the buxom mascara that I've been using for a while now. I feel like my eyes always just look brighter and wider when I don't wear any eyeshadow or eyeliner, but then I also wonder if I'm not doing enough with my makeup if I leave those steps out. Let me know what you think. All I have left to do is lipstick, so I'm going to start by wiping off some of the lip balm. Sometimes I'll just keep it on and add lipstick on top, but today I want a more pigmented look, so I'll remove some of the moisture so that the lip liner and lipstick really grips to my lips. This is one of my favorite lip liners. It's the Buxom Plump Line Lip Liner in the shade Undercover. One of my best friends and I first discovered this lip liner in an Ulta sale probably like 4 years ago, and I just kept repurchasing it ever since. It's close enough to my lip shade so I can use it just to define my lips, and then I go in with any lipstick that I want. I like to use the Too Faced lip injection. This always makes my lips get a more natural pink color, and then I'll use the Kat Von D lipstick in the shade Lolita. I'll let the lip gloss set for at least a minute so it can really do its plumping magic, and then I'll add the lipstick. This is it for the makeup. I still need to get dressed and do my hair. My mom's gonna help me with that, so I'll check back in once all of that is complete. I love how soft and dewy my skin looks. I think I'm definitely going to pull out the Power Grip Primer for the rest of my makeup looks this week. I'm just going to finish up with this setting spray and then I'll go check in with my mom.